Before we get on to the video, if you guys are new to the channel, like my team content, subscribe. We're trying to 150,000 subscribers by the start of May, and right now we are just over 4,000 off. So honestly, at this rate, we could hit it by the start of April, which would be absolutely nuts. But anyway, if you like my team content, subscribe. But now let's get on to the video. What is going on, guys? DBG here. In this video, we are going to be doing another one of our bracket videos where we look over the best point. Well, we look at a bunch of different categories, and we rank who the best point guard is. So the first bracket here is going to be the Giants, which are oversized players, which are all very tall point guards. So pretty much, if they can play the point guard position, they're eligible, because there's a lot of two guys that are very good at the point guard position. Then we have got here, from Dwayne Wade down, we have got the slashers. And then over here, we got the shooters. And up here, we have got the budget players. So obviously, I'm just going to say right now, there are players that fit all the categories. For example, like Wade is without question a shooter and a slasher. So is J.R. Smith. I just tried to make it so that the categories were kind of even, and the way the players were mostly used for. Because let's be real, people are more likely shooting with J.R. Smith than anything else. And to be fair, people are more likely using all these guys to shoot the ball, because that's the way my team is. But anyway, so I'm going to start off with the top left-hand corner, and it is going to be the slashers. So let's zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to start off with these ones right here. It is Penny Hardaway versus Jalen Brown. And this is a very, very easy one. So not Jalen Rose. This is a very, very easy one, even though I don't think Penny Hardaway in terms of an opal is great, as I said in my video earlier. Jalen Rose sucks. He's terrible. Jalen Rose, I don't know why 2K didn't decide not to give him clamps. 2K made Jalen Rose terrible in my team, and I don't understand why. Because he's a card that normally is quite good in 2K, and they could have made him incredible, because they could have made him a legit 6'8" point guard who was somewhat semi-attainable. But no, he's bad. He's awful. Then we have got Lucca versus Yanis. So again, a very, very obvious one going through is Yanis. I don't even think you can argue Lucca shoots better than Yanis. I don't think Lucca does anything at all in this game better than Yanis. So yeah, Yanis is going through. And we are on to LeBron versus Magic Johnson. So this is a matchup where a little bit of thought has to go into this, because in terms of like post game, you've got a win for Magic. In terms of ball handling and just ability to go to the basket, I'm giving Magic to win as well. I think Magic is a better slasher than LeBron James. This Magic is ridiculous at going to the basket. The problem is that while Magic Johnson is pretty decent at shooting, I would say that LeBron James is a much better shooter, and the range extender gives LeBron James that little bit of an edge. So last month's champion LeBron James gets the win over Magic Johnson. Then we have got Ben Simmons versus Lonzo Ball. Lonzo, pretty good card, but his jump shot's just killer. Like, if Lonzo had a good jump shot, you could honestly put him in the LeBron James realm, like that kind of area, but he doesn't. He can't shoot at all, and not Lonzo go through. Ben Simmons is very, very comfortably going through against Lonzo. His jumper is broken, whereas Simmons is a better shooter than Lonzo, which Simmons shouldn't be a better shooter than anyone in this game, but he is. Then we've got Penny versus Yanis. So Penny maybe shoots better than Yanis, and that's kind of the only little thing that I think he might do better. Other than that, I think I'm gonna give the advantage to, well, not the advantage in every single thing except shooting. I think shooting maybe for Penny. Every other thing without question is Yanis. It's very obvious when Yanis is going through. I'm trying to think, is there anything that Penny does better except arguably shooting? No, there's nothing that objectively Penny does better. So Yanis obviously comfortably through. And LeBron versus Ben. So I think LeBron is a better release than Ben. I think LeBron is a better shooter, even though Ben's got range extender. And I think Ben might have a better three. But I think everything else, Ben's just glitchy. Ben Simmons just glitchy. He is that, like, it's not, like, it is kind of close between Simmons and LeBron. I think value-wise, I would probably take LeBron over Simmons, but Simmons is just, the post-game makes him that much more overpowered. And then we are into the final, lads. We are into the final, and it's Ben Simmons versus Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Battle of the Giants. And I'm gonna save this until we get to the end, till we get through all of these first. So we're gonna start it off. We're gonna go to the budget players now. So Jeremy Lin versus Kyle Lowry. So in terms of just like base Jeremy Lin, he's not great. I'm gonna judge Jeremy Lin by the first diamond where he's very easy to get to. I think Kyle Lowry's pretty good, but a little bit outdated, whereas Lin can do a little bit of everything. Like Lin can do a little bit of everything in this game. So I'm going to give the nod to Jeremy Lin. Again, can shoot that a little bit better. Well, actually, no, Kyle Lowry shoots a bit better. Lin dunks that a little bit better. Then we've got Chauncey Billups versus Marcus Smart. So I am going to give the nod to, in this one here, you've got a guy who can dunk a little bit versus a guy who can't really dunk. You've got two great defenders. You've got Billups is probably the better shooter, even though Smart's really good. Smart's very, very cheap because of the locker code. This is a tricky one. I don't even really know who I'm going to go with. So I'm going to put in Billups. Just because I prefer his release and I prefer him a little bit. But Marcus Smart's really good and probably, if he is cheaper, maybe better value. But now we got Mitchell versus Terrence Davis. So these are two very, very similar cards. So Davis has got Hall of Fame range extender, whereas Mitchell has got gold. Mitchell's a better defender. Dunking wise, they're both pretty good, but I give Mitchell the edge. Terrence Davis is an inch taller. I actually do really like both of these guys. And I just think purely because of how I think Mitchell has a better release, I'm going to put Mitchell through. And then we have got the battle, the age-old question. Who is better, Michael Ray Richardson versus Alex Caruso? The age-old question. They're matched up in the first round in a battle of the Titans right here. So this is a tough one. This is a really tough one to decide because on one hand, you've got two 6'5" point guards with Hall of Fame clamps. You've got Caruso, who's a better shooter, although Michael Ray Richardson's not awful at it. You've got Michael Richardson, who's a much better post defender. So even though Caruso's a better dunker, Caruso's better going to the basket, I think for their role, like you're going to be using either of them as a defender, and the fact that Michael Ray Richardson can actually do an okay job of guarding a Simmons or Yanis, I'm going to give Michael Ray Richardson the advantage. Then we got Jeremy Lin versus Chauncey Billups. Lin goes through for the exact same reasons. Larry, he just does more. While Billups, again, can shoot from really, really deep, I'm going to give the edge to Lin because he can dunk and he can do that a little bit more. Then we have got Donovan Mitchell versus Michael Ray Richardson. So it's a close one. It's a really close one because on one end you've got a fantastic defensive player and at the other end you've got a fantastic offensive player. So it all depends on your matchup really. If I was playing against a LeBron or a Simmons, I would take Michael Ray Richardson. However, if I'm coming up against like a normal point guard, I'd take Donovan Mitchell. But the thing is that if you really want a budget card to compete with the best of the best, I'm telling you this right now. Michael Ray Richardson is the guy you've got to use. So the final, Jeremy Lin versus Michael Ray Richardson. I am going to give the nod in terms of budget players. Again, for the same reasons I gave this guy the nod in the semi-final. If you want to stand a chance against the Simmons of the world, if you want to stand a chance against the Yanis of the world and the LeBrons, Michael Ray Richardson is the best budget player that you can use. Lin is a much better offense card, probably much more fun to use. Like, probably better for most of you guys, but if you want to compete, you need someone that can match with those guys, and Ray Richardson can do that. Okay, so now we are going to go on to the shooters. I'll go here first. So Tony Parker versus J.R. Smith. So in terms of height, Smith has an advantage. In terms of going to the basket, Smith has an advantage. Shooting, they're almost even. And like just saying that it should be, and defense, Smith's probably better. Just saying that it should be a formality that Smith wins, but it's not. Because J.R. Smith has got terrible stamina. And yeah, I know stamina is not the biggest deal in the world, but you'd still rather have a player without Gatorade symbol than a player with Gatorade symbol. So, Tony Parker, I'd say he maybe has a better release. I think in terms of like my playstyle coming off screens and stuff, Tony Parker's better. If he's Tony Parker, can stop on a dime. He just moves better at the ball. J.R. Smith's very, very clunky with the ball with his dribbling and stuff. While obviously I'm not the person that should be speaking too much about dribble moves. I'm not even talking about that. I mean just simple things like stopping on a dime, which J.R. Smith can't really do. So for that reason, Tony Parker is going in as a winner in this round. And we got Steve Nash and Steph Curry. We basically got two very, very similar cards, except one of them is just better than the other. So obviously Steph Curry's going in. Steph Curry, if Steve Nash could dunk, we can make an argument here, but he can't, so Steve Nash goes in. Okay, so now we've got Kyrie Irving versus Pete Maravich. So Pete Maravich isn't really going to dunk much, neither is Kyrie, but Kyrie can dunk. You've got a 6'5" point guard who has an unbelievable release versus a 6'3" point guard who's got unbelievable handles, but a not great release. I don't think this is even close. There are people that are going to argue that this round should be very close, and people are going to argue that I'm wrong. I think in a landslide, Pete Maravich wins. I don't think there's anything really that Kyrie does better than Pete Maravich. Pete Maravich is a Hall of Fame clamps. He's fantastic. And in the last round, this is another one that's going to be... This is one of the other really tight first round matchups. So, Avery Bradley versus Rex Chapman. So, in terms of release, I give Avery Bradley the advantage. In terms of defense, I give Avery Bradley the advantage. But, I don't know, Rex Chapman... I know he's very, very difficult to get. Man, he's going around dunking on people. He's a threat going to the basket, which Avery Bradley isn't really. They're about the same height. Or Chapman's an inch taller as far as I know. So that gives him obviously a bit of an advantage there. Except obviously Bradley is a much better defensive card. This is a really close one. And considering the fact that one of them is a lot more attainable than the other one, and because of how difficult it was to get Rex Chapman, I think this is almost a dead heat. Because Bradley's a lot more attainable than Chapman, I'm going to give Bradley the advantage. So now we got Steph Curry versus Tony Parker. And this is a really, really close one as well. If you guys watched my video earlier, you know the advantage. So Steph Curry can dunk a little bit better than Parker. He's an inch taller. Defensively, they're very, very similar. But Tony Parker just has the better release. Some people argue Steph's. I don't like Steph's release. Well, I do like it. I just don't think it's as good as Tony Parker's. I think Parker is right up there with the best releases in the game. It's right up there with the Dwayne Wade release, right up there with T-Mac and all those guys. So one of the best releases in the game without question. I'm going to give Tony Parker the edge, but in a close one over Steph Curry. And this one right here is another close one. So you've got a little bit of advantage defense-wise, stats-wise anyway for Bradley. Except when you look at Pete Maravich is like... He's just different when it comes to shooting. He's basically got the same release as Bradley, but he releases it faster. He's bigger. He handles the ball probably a bit better than Bradley. I'm going to give Pete Maravich the advantage here. And now we're into the final, and this is a really close one. So we got Tony Parker versus Pistol Pete Maravich for this, to make the final fours. So Pistol Pete, I think, again, shoots it very, very well. So does Tony Parker. They're in there shooters. We know that. I'm going to give the advantage. I think they're almost even in terms of release. I think they're almost even in a lot of things. I'm going to give the advantage to the taller player. And it's going to be Pete Maravich. So Pete Maravich is our second player into the final fours. So yeah, that's a bit of a crazy one. So now we're on to slashers, which is obviously it's going to be a very, very hotly contested bracket here. I don't know why I put the two most hotly contested brackets on the one side. We got Dwayne Wade versus Gilbert Arenas. So Arenas has got base 11. He can handle, he can go to the basket. He was probably the best point guard in the game when he came out. Around the time of the 250k, he was right up there with the best cards in the game. And Gilbert Arenas obviously is a really good card, but he's no Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's got basically 95 plus in everything. Really good release. Literally the only negative in Wade is that he's 6'4". That is the only negative in this card. And we got Westbrook versus Fox. So these are the matchups where you guys are really going to want to see who wins, I'd say. So Westbrook versus Fox. This is a weird one because they're about the same height. Westbrook is Hall of Fame range versus Fox's gold. However, I think Fox might have the better release, but only slightly. Fox's release, I think, is absolutely money. This is all preference. This is all preference. I would say, either try them both out and pick one, or get whichever one's cheaper. But overall, I think in a tiny, tiny advantage to Westbrook. Like so minuscule that it's just preference. I think the Hall of Fame range center just puts Westbrook that little bit ahead. Then we got Lillard versus Rose. we've got two guys that do very similar things, except for the fact that Rose, I think, in my opinion anyway, has a much better jump shot and also gets to the basket a little bit easier and is a way better defender. So Derrick Rose goes in for the win against Dame Lillard. And we had John Wall versus Zach LaVine. So John Wall is really good. Like, if it was John Wall versus Derrick Rose, we could be having a bit of a conversation, but there is no real conversation. It's Zach LaVine without question. Zach LaVine has got one of the better jump shots in the game. And, well, certainly one of the best jump shots in the game. Also got Hall of Fame clamps and can attack the basket really well, dunking everybody. LaVine, no question. It is Derrick Rose versus then we're going to go with Wade versus Westbrook. Again, I think Westbrook's great value, a great card. He ain't got nothing on Wade. He's got nothing on Wade. Wade is going through very, very comfortably right here. And it's Derrick Rose versus LaVine. So, I don't know. I really don't know who I'm going to use for this one here. I like both of them. Actually, I do know who I'm going to put through. I don't know why I'm putting suspense in this. I really like Derrick Rose. I just think LaVine's better. I just think LaVine does everything Derrick Rose does, and he's 2 inches taller. So I think LaVine's better. And now the final. This is where it is literally preference. So if you're looking stats-wise, it's Wade. If you're, like most people would definitely go Wade. I know for a fact if Tyler Debo or Splash are watching this, they're going to call me crazy. But when it comes to the opals, when it comes to the 99 overalls, the difference between a card having a 92 in a stat and a 97 in a stat is almost irrelevant. All of these cards basically have got perfect ball handling, perfect speed, perfect three-point shot. This all comes down to animations. And for me, for my playstyle, Zach LaVine is better than Dwayne Wade. And it's close, but for my playstyle, LaVine is better than Wade. I think LaVine is exceptional. I think Wade is really good. For the couple games I've used him, I prefer LaVine. So then we are going to get on to the last matchup here for the Giannis versus Ben Simmons. I didn't want to just give it away so early on in the video. And this is, again, this is purely preference. So you've got Simmons, who's the better shooter, or you got Simmons who's better shooter stats-wise. You've got LaVine, who's got the better and quicker release. Or you've got Giannis, who's got the better and quicker release. You've got Giannis, who I think moves better, has a better hop step. I also think straight line speed, Simmons feels faster. And in terms of once you get into a dunk animation, Simmons seems to dunk better than Giannis. Passing-wise, they're the same. Post-game-wise, I give the advantage to Simmons. I think this is a really, really close one here. And again, this is personal preference. The guy that I have most success with, the guy that I prefer using, is Giannis. It's Giannis. Again, if you ask me tomorrow, I might say Simmons. But I don't know why. I just feel like Giannis a little bit of an advantage. So now we are going to go into the final fours. So we're going to start off with, obviously you can see the four of them right here. We're going to start off with Giannis versus LaVine. And this is a really close one because I think for my playstyle, I have a lot of success with LaVine. However, when I come up against Giannis or Simmons with LaVine, I'm going to struggle a little bit. I'm going to struggle a lot more than if I was using a Giannis or a Simmons myself. So I think Giannis, he can actually come off screens and shoot. He can do kind of a little bit of everything, and also the fact that he's Giannis. Like, we can't forget that. You can't just simply forget about the fact that Giannis is Giannis, so Giannis wins. And now we have got a battle right here for this in the other semis. We have got all defense versus unbelievable offense and some pretty good defense. So in terms of defense, I think they're both 6'5", Hall of Fame clamps are good defensive stats. So it's a bit closer than it might seem. However, Ray Richardson has got better interior defense and can deal with the other guys better. However, Pete Maravich is so much better on offense, and Pete Maravich is comparable on defense, that no way would I take Michael Ray Richardson over Pete Maravich. Value-wise, yeah, you could definitely argue you take Richardson over them, but no way I take him over Maravich. And now we are on to, I've zoomed in to one too many. Now we are on to the final. It is Pistol Pete Maravich versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. And there's no point. That's why I left it. We knew Giannis is going to win all these rounds. And Pete Maravich shoots the ball a lot better than Giannis. Yeah, but Giannis does every single other thing better. So we are now, this is the entire bracket. If you guys can see that. Starting off from here. And yeah, that is the video. All these matchups. for the brackets, and this is my point guard bracket video for the month. But anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.